Welcome, Summoners, to Games Cast by PanderNyrl. If you wish to see more commented games, follow my social media pages below. Okay, welcome to Millenium versus Copenhagen Wolves. We do see Wukong and Evelyn banned out in addition to Olaf and Elise. Eve has basically been a tournament ban this entire time, as her ability to roam around the map is virtually unparalleled, and it's really a terror on teams to try and stop her. Wukong banned out, as well as his ability to dive onto enemy teams and use his ultimate, has really shut down some team comps. Kayle also banned out, as she has really turned team fights around with her ultimate, and it looks like wise decisions coming out of Copenhagen to ban Kha'Zix, Elise, and Olaf. Very standard bans, though it will mean it looks like the team orders are on top are actually backwards, but oh well. That's something Riot's going to have to take a look at it at a future date, as we do see Shen being the first pick, and Kha'Zix, Elise, and Olaf all banned. Basically standard bans all around. Those champions have really done a good job in the tournament when they're actually in there of really getting the back line and bursting them down before something can really happen. It looks like we are going to have Shen picked up by Millenium. He really does a great job of punishing the enemy team whenever they do try and engage. We have Amumu and Zyra picked up by, looks like, Millenium, as Zyra has basically been a support picked almost every single game. I don't have the exact number, but I do believe at least 90+% of them. Looks like Amumu is also picked up. He has a really great ultimate, and especially combined with Zyra means they have two incredibly powerful, very large range AoE CCs. They can really shut someone down in a team fight, or honestly, they can almost shut down the entire team if you land them properly. Let's see what Copenhagen Wolves decide to come out here, as I do think they're going to probably pick up the AD carry and support. That's basically standard procedure at this point. Both of those are pretty good choices. Looks like it might be Ezreal paired up with either Sona or Lulu, as those have been fairly standard throughout. If you don't get Zyra, you basically pick Lulu or Sona. We've seen one or two other supports, but that's basically been the entire tournament, and it will be Ezreal and Lulu. Lulu just brings a whole lot to the lane, as she has incredible poke. Her teamfight ability is also way up there, as her ability to just slow down the entire team and apply that big ultimate. It looks like we are going to see Jax and Misfortune coming out. Jax a real terror top lane if he gets a good start, as he's really capable of snowballing the game to incredible levels. And it also brings another AoE crowd control effect to the side on Millenium, as they could easily keep an entire team seed for 3 to 4 seconds with no real threat of retaliation. And all that time, Misfortune can land a full bullet time on whoever she wants. And that's one of the reasons Misfortune has been picked in this tournament so much, is her ultimate does incredible amounts of damage. And her early game is really powerful. She has the ability to just punish anyone in lane. Looks like out of Wolves we might see a Cho'gath, in addition to some form of mid lane champion. Not exactly sure who they're going to pick up at this point. Something like a Ryze would be preferred, as Ryze is just really strong in this tournament. His ability to build an incredible amount of health with Rod of Ages and then do a whole lot of damage, but it looks like it is Morgana trying to prevent that AoE crowd control from landing on someone. Not sure how effective it is, and it is going to be a Fizz immediately picked up. This is one of Tabzz' signature heroes, along with the Wukong, that he's shown out several times, though not in this tournament. He's done it in the past, and his Fizz is just really annoying in team fights, as he can just kind of jump around the map, get fairly low, bait out a spell or two, and dodge them. And he should be able to dodge those Morgana bindings all game long, so he'll have no real threat of being caught. They do have a Cho'gath Rupture as well, but he could easily dodge that if he decides to. And I think Fizz is an excellent choice here. They have enough on the side of Millenium to really dive in and kill Ezreal, which is the main source of damage coming out from Copenhagen Wolves. I don't see a whole lot of damage going to be coming out of anyone else. Morgana, Cho'gath, and Shen will all have pretty decent burst damage, but Ezreal is going to be the only form of sustain, and I suspect he's going to go for the Infinity Edge first into a Phantom Dancer, as he really needs that damage because his team just doesn't have it. Well, on the side of Millenium, they just have a damage all around, and it looks like we are going to take a quick look at the teams, as we do see for Copenhagen. Okay, there we go. They're just now Wolves instead of Copenhagen Wolves. Apparently we had a slight change there, but all is good. And I think we're going to have the scoreboard straight, other than the top's a little bit messed up. But first game of the day, there's always bound to be little mistakes here and there. And we are into the game. No surprises coming out on either team, as both sides are just playing fairly standard and bringing a whole lot of wards to the plate, as virtually everyone on the Millenium side has a ward, while two people don't on the Wolves side of things. Looks like we are going to see Millenium grouping up, looking to possibly try and get first blood. They have a much better first blood team than the Copenhagen Wolves, as Jax has a stun, Zyra has a very powerful root, Amumu can pick up a stun as well, and they can really catch someone out and punish them for really trying anything. But Ezreal's in a great spot here. He's far enough back that someone just walking in there won't root him. The Zyra will throw the pink ward down, and Ezreal will just back away. Spots them out, no real threat, as they do decide to back up. Very good decision coming out of them. The Wolves do have a pretty decent level 1 as well. I do think Millennium's is still a bit stronger, as Morgana binding, Shen taunt, and even Cho'gath rupture would be a whole lot of CC to deal with. But it looks like neither side really wanted to take a fight. Millenium was just hoping to sneak in there and steal something, or possibly pick up a first blood on the double golems. As we do see both sides backing up, and I don't think we're going to have any level 1 lane swaps, as Shen looks to be going up top, Jax going up top as well. And that is a favorable matchup for Shen for the first few levels. Though the second Shen starts using his ultimate, it really becomes in Jax's favor, unless Shen is picking up multiple kills from it, as it basically gives Jax free farm. The big advantage Shen has over Jax top is he doesn't have mana, and he has a ranged ability he can just throw out there pretty consistently with his Vorpal Blades. Amumu is going to be starting blue, as we do see Cho'gath starting red, and I expect Cho'gath to immediately rush over and take his own blue, as junglers this entire tournament have done a great job of securing their buffs and really making sure they aren't stolen unless there's some form of fairly significant invade, and that even then they waste a fair amount of time in doing so. Fizz is being zoned out here in the mid lane, as he's going to have a real hard time until he hits 2, possibly level 3, as he's just not a champion built for early game fighting. He's meant hitting level 6, then roaming around the map, making things happen. Looks like he's not even going for a flash this game, as he has opted for teleport and ignite, really looking to punish Morgana, and just use his troll pole to dance around the enemy team. Morgana also picking up teleport, as that's been all fairly standard on mid laners the entire time. As mid laners have opted for that, it looks like we are going to have Shen throw out the taunt, Jax with a stun, and it does land. Cho'gath will be picking up both his buffs as Amumu clears his at the exact same time. Amumu is in a slight CS lead at this point, though he has not opted to start with a machete. And it looks like we are going to see a big fight up top, as Cho'gath is ready, and he will spot out Amumu going around, but I don't think he's going to try and fight it. Amumu is going to come in the bush. No, he's not. Though that ward will keep Jax and give him a false sense of security. Shen has hit level 3 first, and it looks like they are going to try and start a fight on the Wolf side of things. They're in good shape at this point in time, though they don't see Cho'gath, which is kind of a bit of a problem. If they saw Cho'gath, Jax might play a little more aggressively, but at this point in time, there's no real reason for him to. Looks like we are going to see Fizz try and come up top to apply some pressure to the Shen, but Cho'gath is there, and I do believe they spotted out the ward. And that's a good bit of time wasted on Cho'gath, as he didn't even get a gank attempt off. If he got one off and burned something like Jax's flash, that might have been worth it, but it just wasn't enough, as we do see Lulu taking a fair bit of harassment from those Zyra plants, but she is able to kill them fairly quickly. And that's one good thing about Lulu, is she does have a fairly high attack damage for a support, and it looks like Ezreal will be caught out slightly, but just a little bit of harass being traded. Shen up top, taking a whole lot of damage from Jax, but he is returning it as well, as both parties do spend their ignite. And that engagement does go in the favor of Shen, as Shen has just a little bit more sustain than Jax, especially in those early levels. But Jax is not down significantly in terms of CS. It is a little bit, but not a whole lot, as we do see Cho'gath coming in. The question will be, will Cho'gath actually get a gank off? I don't think they have a ward that saw him, so he is going to come forward, and will he be able to land the rupture? No, he does not. And that means he's in a bit of trouble, but I don't think he's going to go down. He does have flash away, as we do see Fizz jump in there, and this will be first blood picked up by Fizz. Morgana coming in as well, and that means Fizz will be taken down by Ezreal, and it looks like Zyra is going to be picked off as well, as the glitter lance does land. Double kill by Ezreal. And that was a beautiful teleport gank by Morgana and Fizz both, though Fizz got the worst end of it, as that double buff is transferred over to Ezreal, and he's going to have a really good time in this bottom lane, especially now that he has the ability to zone out Misfortune, get a little bit of a level advantage, and possibly even hit 6 before her at this point. Misfortune is a little stronger than Ezreal early game, but Ezreal does scale slightly better than Misfortune, as his attack speed buff lasts a little bit longer and is slightly stronger. In addition to that, he has the ability to jump around the map. And it looks like we are going to have Shen pressuring this Jax down, as Jax does not have any more health potions. And without any health potions, he is likely going to be dived under this tower if he takes too much more damage. Though I do think Shen is doing the right thing here and just harassing him off, and he's done a great job. It looks like Jax is going to get very low. He does pop the stun, but it is not enough. It does keep Shen at bay, but Shen is going to continue to run at him. His taunt will be up in 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2... No, he decides to back up and just wait it out. He had a good opportunity there if he wanted to pursue, but he didn't know where Amumu and the rest of his team were, as that wouldn't have been a very wise idea to jump in when you have an Amumu bandage tossing in on you. So Amumu is leveling pretty well and should hit 6 in no time. And Shen is doing a great job of keeping Jax down up top, as he does have a significant CS lead at this point in time. Morgana doing a good job against Fizz, as we do see the Wolves up to about a 400 gold lead, give or take at this point in time. Looks like we are going to have a fight down bottom, as Shen does use his ultimate, and Misfortune will be the casualty here, as Zyra is in a whole lot of trouble, and she will be taken down here in just a moment, as Shen does flash forward and taunt, picking up 1 kill and granting 1 kill to Lulu. Great ultimate there, and that's exactly what you want to do as Shen, is pick up those multiple kills and really snowball lanes. And that's one reason why Shen is a fairly significant ban in these tournaments, is he's just done an amazing job of punishing aggression and really capitalizing on teams that want to play offensive. Cho'gath also did a great job, as he ran right up top. He wasted no time in getting there, and he will be able to pick up all this juicy CS and hit level 6. Looks like we are going to have Morgana likely to try something on Fizz, just to keep Fizz from being at full health. As she can keep Fizz from getting full health and roaming around the map, she'll be doing her job. As I do believe Ezreal will have to go for the Infinity Edge first. He could go for Bloodthirst, then Infinity Edge, but he really just needs to bring a whole lot of damage to the plate, as his team is not bringing a lot of damage on their own. Looks like we are going to see Ezreal back in lane, and he's having a real good time down bottom. He's slightly up on CS on Misfortune, but he's up 2 kills on her, and that's the big difference here, as those kills mean a whole lot. Looks like Amumu's going to try and come for a gank. There is not a ward down here, as we do see the entire team back up, though I do think they spotted Morgana rotating down, and probably a good decision overall just to back up. Though it looks like Amumu's still in the area, though Fizz throws out his Shark, Morgana does throw out her own ultimate, and Fizz is in a bit of trouble as the Rupture does land. Beautiful silence by Cho'gath. That means Fizz will be able to get away thanks to a nice juke. Morgana could try and pursue, but I don't think it's worth this time. Shen is trying to come up there, but not in time, as the binding does go across, but he jumps over it with his pool. Looks like we are going to have Amumu coming down bottom. He's getting fairly low. Ultimate for Misfortune flies out and picks off Lulu, but only 1 kill exchange there for the Amumu ultimate. Not a bad trade, as the rest of the map is going fairly well in the Wolves' favor, but still, 1 kill is 1 more than they had, and it showed out Misfortune keep up with Ezreal this game, as she was slowly losing ground to him, as she was down the sustain item of the Vampiric Scepter in lane. Cho'gath will be able to steal this red buff away from Amumu, and that's exactly what you want to do if you're Cho'gath at this point. You force Amumu down bottom, and then you can go steal his top or jungle. Looks like Cho'gath is coming for a gank onto Jax, as Shen does do a good bit of damage. Shen lands the taunt, Rupture does go down, Jax is forced to flash away, but not a very fortuitous flash, he flashes right into a wall, and will be taken down here in just a moment, as the tower does finish him off. And this Shen is having a real good time, as he's picked up 2 kills and 1 assist this game. He's basically even with Jax on CS at this point in time, but he's really helped his team out around the map. And that's exactly why you pick up the Shen, as he just does such a good job of bullying people around in lane and then moving around the map. He can also split push pretty well, so I think that's something Wolves is also going to be wanting to do this game, is split push around the map force people to go fight Shen one-on-one, and then try and take a 4v4 fight where they don't need as much damage, as they'll probably have to send someone like Jax or Fizz to really deal with him. And without one of those in the fight, it's going to be hard for Millenium to really get that big chain CC combo off, even though they do have a great opportunity to, as they have 4 area of effect, fairly hard CC abilities, with 1 stun, Amumu's ultimate, Zyra knockup, and Fizz's knockup. All of those put into conjunction would mean a whole lot of damage coming out from Millenium. And easily 3 to 4 seconds of crowd control. Morgana doing a good job of keeping Fizz down, as Fizz is down about 10 CS at this point. And other than those few kills exchanged, they're basically been even lanes. Cho'gath has decided to come down there and pick off a ward or 2. It looks like Amumu's going to try and come in here onto Morgana, but I think Morgana should be pretty safe. She recognizes where he is. She could easily throw out a binding and scare him away. Though I do believe Amumu won't be able to get a gank off. And outside that 1 gank down bottom, Amumu hasn't been able to get those ganks. He really needs an early gank or 2 to set him up for later in the game, as he gets a whole lot off those ganks, and he can get really tanky really fast, and even build some damage if he so chooses. Looks like they're going to have Bloodthirster up onto Ezreal. Warmong's then likely a Shirelia's Reverie going to come out of Shen fairly soon. Cho'gath has completed Boots of Mobility and the Spirit Stone. Morgana going with the double Duran's Rings, and we are going to see Lulu with the Philosopher's Stone in addition to the Sight Stone. Zyra opting for the Philosopher's Stone up first, as we do have Misfortune about to complete the Bloodthirster. Shen in a lot of trouble up top if Amumu and Jax decide to jump on him, but Shen's doing a great job of just staying in between the creeps. And it looks like Jax is trying to bait the taunt out, but he's just not going to, as they don't see Amumu on the map. And if they saw Amumu on the map somewhere, he might want to try and go in on it, but without knowing where he is, he's just trying to waste Amumu's time. Looks like Cho'gath getting pinged to come down mid lane, but I don't think there's going to be a whole lot going on, as Fizz does jump in, Binding does miss, and Fizz will be able to escape just fine. Amumu did have to go back and just wasted his time up top, but no big deal for him, as he is farming fairly well in the jungle. He has picked up a giant spell in addition to the Spirit Stone. We do see Fizz going with a double Duran's Rings, likely into a Lich Bane up next. And we have Jax going for the Trinity Force, or just something off of the Phage. As the Phage is a pretty good item to keep Shen down, as it just really limits his movement and allows you to do a whole lot of damage as he backs up. Amumu coming down bottom, I don't believe he was spotted out, though Lulu could throw out an ability to check, as her Glitter Lance does slightly reveal enemies as it gives a sound whenever it hits someone. Also, her Help Picks ability, if used on the enemies, does show where they are. Looks like Cho'gath's going to come down bottom, and a ward is thrown out, and they do spot Amumu. They did sacrifice the ward, but I do think it was worth it to make sure you're perfectly safe down bottom, as that could have easily been a 200 to 300 gold swing, which is almost double what a ward is. Looks like we do have Sheen picked up onto Fizz. Morgana going to try and rotate down up, or at least up towards the blue buff. And it looks like they are going to ward it out, and it will be spotted, and it will be a 4v4 fight down bottom. Problem with the 4v4 fight is Wolves have Shen on their team, so Shen could get to this team fight. Looks like Fizz is trying to come down bottom as Cho'gath does a good bit of damage to Amumu, and Amumu is in a lot of trouble as he will be taken down without even landing an ultimate. Zyra ultimate does fly, and the fish is dodged thanks to a clutch jump by Ezreal. Cho'gath in a bit of trouble as the Morgana ultimate lands, and Shen will not be coming down and joining this fight as Jax did stun him during it, but Shen is winning that fight up top by a healthy margin. Misfortune does pick up 1 kill. Jax is in a whole lot of trouble as Ezreal does pop the barrier and finishes off Misfortune. Wolves in a great spot here, as we do see Shen picking off Jax up top, and Zyra the only living survivor of Team Millenium. And Wolves doing an excellent job that team fight of controlling the enemy and forcing them to fight small, almost 1v4, 2v4 fights the entire time. It looks like Wolves could go for Dragon at this point in time, but instead they decided to go and try and chase Zyra a little bit. I think a Dragon would have been a good choice here, though without Cho'gath it could be stolen, though I don't think Zyra has the ability to steal it. And I do think Millenium should just rush Dragon at this point. I think they recognize that something's going on as Fizz has decided to teleport down bottom. though Fizz will be able to get onto Ezreal here down bottom, as he is able to jump in, but there's the exhaust by Lulu, and Lulu will go down to Fizz. Cho'gath coming in the area and missing the silence and rupture, which means he should be able to get away just fine. As he does jump in and try to do some damage to Ezreal, he will be able to pick off Ezreal here. Or maybe not. No, he does not, as Cho'gath feasts him. Ezreal lives with virtually 0 health. Beautiful job there by Ezreal, just dodging and getting a little bit lucky there at the end that he didn't get an extra auto attack off. Cho'gath also doing a great job there, zoning Fizz out. So Fizz only picks up a support. And giving a kill over to Cho'gath for a support is pretty worth it every single time. We do see Morgana chasing Amumu into the jungle. And it will be the red buff that Amumu tries to steal. Binding does land as Amumu does take it with his smite. Ultimate comes out for Morgana as she does pop the black shield. Then that will be a Cho'gath rupture coming out. Ezreal ultimate does miss. And the rupture and dark binding both miss on Amumu as he does bandage toss to safety. Amumu is forced to ultimate as Cho'gath throws out the Pharaoh Scream. But Amumu is perfectly safe. And a very good dodge there by Amumu, just sticking on the very end of it. But we do see Shen taking down the first tower of the game up top as Jax tries to come in there and steal red from his team. But Cho'gath just feasts it away. No chance of getting a buff away from Cho'gath, as Feast is the strongest ability against minions in the game. As we do see bottom lane being pushed out by Ezreal. Misfortune and Zyra just not having a good time since Ezreal picked up those early kills. He's going to have his Iceborne gauntlets up in another 1 to 2 minutes. And that's really going to be hard on Millenium, as he will be able to kite the entire team around. And I wasn't sure if Wolves were going to have the damage this game, but they do, as so far at least. Though I do believe Millenium has the better late game team, Wolves has done a great job of capitalizing this entire time and really punishing Millenium for taking these small little scrimmage fights. Looks like Amumu is going to be jumping out on Shen, but Shen just a little out of range. And I don't think Amumu wants to try and 1v1 Shen at this point. Shen should be able to taunt over the wall, and he does do so. He does aggro Baron, taking a good bit of damage. As he has built up a Sunfire Cape, the rest of Wolves' team will be down bottom, taking Dragon during all of this. And throughout all of that, we do see a very healthy 5,000 gold lead for Wolves. And let me fix... Okay, can't fix that at the moment. Have to go fiddle with that after the game. But all is good, as it looks like the YouTube broadcaster doesn't have 720p all the time. But oh well, that's just something we're going to have to deal with for the moment, as we do see the entire Millenium team looking to try and make something happen. They really need to at this point. And wow, that quality is going down pretty fast on this YouTube stream. Oh, that's not fun, but we do have Morgana coming down bottom. Zyra ultimate does fly out, but not a whole lot happening as both sides are getting fairly low. Lulu does pop the ultimate on herself, and that's a pretty big win for Millenium as they do burn Morgana's ultimate and teleport for virtually free. Looks like we are going to see Shen continue to split push up top, as Shen has done a great job the entire game of really just moving around the map and punishing every single action that Jax has done, and Jax just hasn't been able to pick up the farm. Looks like he is going for a Blade of the Rune King, not opting to finish his phage first, though I do think he could have. And it looks like we are going to just continue to have a bit of a farm fest. Cho'gath's going to try and come down bottom to get a gank off, but I'm not sure how effective it's going to be, as Misfortune and Zyra are going to be backing up. Looks like we are going to just continue to farm, as I don't think either side really wants to get an engagement here, as the ultimates of several key members are down. Cho'gath Feast is down. Ezreal and Morgana ultimates are down for a few more moments. Looks like we are going to see both sides can just continue to slowly farm it out. And it looks like we are going to have Amumu and Fizz taking their blue buff, as both sides just continue to farm. And it looks like we are going to see an engagement down bottom at some point. And I'm going to see if I can adjust it and switch over to Twitch stream in a moment. as this YouTube stream quality is just really lacking at this point in time. I can't do anything about it. Though there we go, it has caught back up. Not sure exactly what that was. And I do apologize for the slight quality degradation, I guess is the way you'd put it. But Jax is in a whole lot of trouble up top, as he is jumped on by Shen and Cho'gath and just feasted down. No real hope for him that time, as we do see Wolves looking to push this mid tower, and they will be able to take this tower down. Top tower will also likely go down, as Shen and Cho'gath can easily punish that and keep the creep waves at bay. Both of them incredibly tanky, as we do see Lock of the Iron Solari coming out onto Shen in addition to the Sunfire Cape. Cho'gath has picked up the Aegis of the Legion. Morgana about to complete her Hourglass. Iceborne Gauntlets and the Black Cleaver finished up onto Ezreal. Looks like Lulu's going to have the Shirley's Reverie out fairly soon. Jax going for the Blade of the Rune King. Amumu likely going to be grabbing a Sunfire Cape or Warmongs. Likely Sunfire Cape first, then Warmongs next. As we do see Fizz having that Lichbane, in addition to the Doran's Rings. Misfortune has opted for a Zeal into Phantom Dancer, and we are going to have Zyra picking up a Shirley's Reverie at some point in time, likely after a Sight Stone, unless he's just going to continue to put down pink wards the entire time, which wouldn't be a terrible idea. Looks like Ezreal and Lulu are going to be able to push this bottom tower down. And that will be a pretty good job by them, which means Wolves will have 4 towers to none, and that's really where their lead's coming from at this point. The kills have been nice, but it's not been the big story of the game. It's been the towers and the engagements where they've just really cut off Millenium from fighting how they want to fight. Millenium wants to group up and play a 5-man game. Wolves doesn't. It seems like Wolves is really wanting to initiate in, fight a 2v3, back up, fight another 2v3, and just fight those fights that are small scrimmages where they have one man up. Or even if they're even on numbers at this point, I think they could win a 2v2 and multiple 2v2s around the map, as that would be a pretty decent strategy coming out of them. Looks like we are going to see Shen continue to split push top, and Jax has not gotten going this game. He's sitting at 0-3-0 with only 161 farm. It's not a terrible amount of farm, but he's just given a lot up to this Shen, and this Shen is going to be a real monster, and he might actually get a good bit of damage out of him if he decides to build something like a Wit's End next. Looks like Cho'gath and Lulu are going to try and come down bottom and pick someone off, but Misfortune and Zyra have backed up at this point and are perfectly safe. We are going to have Shen rotate down the middle, and he might get caught out by Millenium, but I don't think that's who you want to burn any real significant abilities on, as Shen is incredibly tanky at this point. We do have the Runic Bulwark finished up onto Cho'gath, Sonny's Hourglass and the Last Whisper picked up by Wolves, and we are going to see them push as 4 in the mid lane, and just let Shen do his thing and split push. He's really in a great spot here as he's keeping Amumu out of the fight by knocking him down to half health. Looks like Zyra will be caught out just slightly, but she will throw her plants down and be taken fairly low by Cho'gath. Ultimate from Ezreal does fly as Jax gets stunned in the mid lane, but that's exactly what Wolves has done. They've done a great job of just harassing him. Amumu does get a nice 4-man bandage toss. Ezreal will be going down here to Fizz. The question is, will they do enough damage in the meantime? Yes, they will, as we do see Fizz going down, and it looks like it is 2 for 2 so far. The problem is the remaining few of Millenium just don't have the damage to deal with this Shen and Cho'gath. They're too tanky, and that will be a winning fight for Wolves, trading 2 for 3 in their favor. Cho'gath running up there trying to get something onto Zyra, but Zyra will be forced to flash away. And even with that fairly poor engagement on the side of Wolves, they did manage to win out and just snowball it to a pretty good lead. At this point, they will be able to take Dragon, not able to actually get any towers off of it. But at this point, Cho'gath is really tanky, in addition to Shen, and I'm not sure they're going to actually be able to be killed. And this quality thing from YouTube is just not working out. If you're trying to watch it live, it just shuts down the quality every few moments. Not sure exactly why, but after this game, I will be switching over to the YouTube feed and hope it works. Looks like we are going to have Shen picking up a Warmongs next, looking to just completely tank it out and basically be unkillable. as we do see Ezreal. I think he's going to likely grab a Phantom Dancer or Infinity Edge next. Both of those would be really good items, and I don't think he needs any real tank ability, unless Fizz can jump over the entire team to get to him, which is a real feat. I don't think you're going to be able to pick him off. Looks like we are going to have Cho'gath going for the blue buff, with Morgana taking that. Jax has completed the Braid of the Rune King, and Amumu grabbing 2 Giants belts up there for their incredible amount of health. We do see Fizz looking to come up top as Jax is jumping in on Shen, but Jax just does not get the slow procs, though Shen is in a lot of trouble as we do see Amumu and Fizz come up here, but Shen taunts away and will be able to flash. Fish does come out, it lands onto Cho'gath, but Cho'gath doesn't take any damage. Morgana teleporting up, and she does decide to get a nice 3-man ultimate. Zyra ultimate does fly, as we do see the Zhonya's Hourglass popped, and Shen just barely safe as Lulu comes in the fight at the last second. Morgana getting away at the very last second, as we do see Lulu doing a whole lot of damage. Shen will go down throughout all of this as Ezreal continues to split push. But that's a decent trade for Wolves, as they will be able to pick up this bottom tower. There's no way they can get down there unless Fizz wants to burn teleport. And considering how far caught out Shen was, they did a great job of salvaging that situation and picking up Jax, even though Jax was not worth any gold at this point in time. You see sitting at 5-3, though Shen was worth a whole lot, as we do see Fizz using his teleport down bottom, but will be slowed as the Iceborne Gauntlet slow will remove Home Guard, which I believe is what Fizz was banking on to catch Ezreal. And that's actually a really good tactic by Ezreal, to just hit the tower with your Iceborne Gauntlet, and then when someone tries to teleport in, or try and bring a minion or something, so as soon as they jump in, they get hit by the Iceborne Gauntlet slow and don't get the Home Guard effect on the teleport. I'm not sure if he meant to do that, but it worked out anyways. Looks like we are going to have Death Cap finished up onto Morgana, as Cho'gath is likely going for Warmongs himself. Shen picking up a bit of magic resistance there with the Negatron Cloak. We do have another Lock of the Ancillary up onto Lulu, as we do see, I believe Mercury Tread is going to be soon up onto Jax. Looks like Ezreal is going to be building a Warmongs, as the quality does return from YouTube, and the quality on YouTube stream has just been up and down the entire time, and I'm going to apologize again for it. I will try to move to the Twitch stream next, as I hope that's not having issues today. Looks like we are going to have Misfortune going for Last Whisper. She should have that up fairly soon, as she has completed her Phantom Dancer. Shirley's Reverie up onto Zyra, as they're really looking to make an engagement happen here on the Millenium side of things. They're down pretty heavily in gold, but they have the team that can turn it around. They have so many area effect ultimates. If they can chain them together, they will win a team fight, no questions asked, before the team fight even really starts. The problem is Ezreal's tanking up, and Ezreal's getting a lot of damage as well. In addition to that, Cho'gath and Shen both have a fair bit of damage on their own, and they should be able to finish off anyone on Millenium's side that's left alive once. It looks like we do see an engagement down bottom, as Shen will try and jump onto Fizz, and Fizz does not have his ultimate at this point in time, which is a real trouble if he decides to come into this top team fight. Cho'gath is caught out a little bit, but is able to just back away after absorbing a bit of damage. Ezreal is going to be pushing mid lane, and I don't think they're going to be able to get on him and move. Bandage Toss flies, but no such luck landing, as Ezreal will just shoot him down with a Mystic Shot. Morgana Binding does throw out, but no such luck hitting, as both sides are going to basically circle around the mid lane. Though this doesn't, circling around the mid lane is a big advantage for Wolves here, as Shen can just continue to split push, and Shen is in a lot of danger, as Fizz does try and jump up there. Shen will pick up the tower, meaning the towers are 6-0. And it looks like we are going to see Wolves pushing top lane. A rather good choice, as that means Shen can stay down bottom without any real threat. Morgana Binding does come out. It does not hit Jax, but the Rupture does, and Jax is taken fairly low, as we do see Lulu in a bit of trouble here. Shen ultimate does fly onto Lulu, and Shen will be in this fight. Amumu ultimate does land on 4, but not the one they need, and they really need to kill this Ezreal. But this is a very good fight for Millenium, as so much damage flies. Zhonya's Hourglass lands onto Jax, and Jax is taken down, but the problem is Ezreal is still at full health virtually, and is able to take down Misfortune and the rest of the Millenium side of things. And those ultimates just didn't hit Ezreal. They had an opportunity to, and Ezreal picks up the quadra kill, just chasing down Zyra there at the end. And that's exactly the problem that comes with not getting Ezreal in those ultimates. He's the entire damage for Wolves. The rest of their team is tanky enough. They just survived long enough in that team fight between the Hourglass and the innate tankiness of Cho'gath and Shen that Ezreal was never harmed. He got to sit back and shoot attacks off the entire time for free, no exceptions, and just completely dominated the Millenium side of things with his ridiculous score this game. He's sitting at 274. Minions 8-1-6. And has just now completed a Warmongs. I'm not sure what he's going to pick up his last item. He can basically do whatever he wants at this point. And that's exactly what you can't allow an AD carry to do in a team fight, is sit back and shoot for free the entire time. That's the whole reason why Shen and Cho'gath built so tanky, is so they can absorb damage. They don't have much damage themselves, even though we do see Cho'gath building that Warmongs and Shen picking up the Spirit Visage, as they are going to get a little bit of damage out of that. At least Shen will. And it looks like we are going to see Zhonya's Hourglass picked up by Fizz. And we are going to go to a replay in that last team fight. Not sure why we're going to a replay at this point, but it's a decent idea to see the Amumu ultimate hitting all four of them, but no real opportunity to get onto this Ezreal. Jax does get back there, but he doesn't have the damage he needs. And Ezreal just roaming around the team fight, completely untouched outside of that Jax, and he just picks off everyone as he jumps forward and kills Amumu, and picks off Zyra at the back end. A real beautiful team fight coming out of Ezreal and the Copenhagen Wolves, as they just let Ezreal do his job. You let the AD carries sit back there and shoot uninhibited, especially one as farmed up as Ezreal, and you're going to win the team fight in outstanding fashion. As it looks like Morgana is going to be picking up another Blasting Wand. And YouTube quality is going to randomly change again for no apparent reason. Not sure what's going on with that. And as I said, at least 2 or 3 other times, I'm going to be moving to the Twitch stream after this, where it doesn't cut quality after a little bit of time. We do see Wolves going for Baron, and I think it's going to be uninterrupted, as they are getting it fairly low. And Millenium just has no idea they're doing it. There were no wards in here to begin with. And I don't think they have a good shot at stealing it either. They don't have that long-range ultimate. And the Feast and Smite of Cho'gath just completely finish it off. Looks like we are going to see Shen continue to split push down bottom. And Shen has done an amazing job this game. Every single opportunity he's had, he's been able to split push. And when he's split pushed, and especially when you're this farmed, you can duel anyone you want. I don't see anyone who can one-on-one Shen at this point in time. And that's exactly what you want out of Wolves. You make these fights 4v4, then Shen comes in to make them 4v5, or even if Shen doesn't get into the fight, just the ultimate onto Ezreal means that Ezreal can stay in the fight longer and not have to worry about running around. Especially if it would happen like in the last fight, where Ezreal just didn't get hit by the CC and continued to fight the entire time. Looks like we are going to have Zyra throwing out her plants, doing a little bit of harassment to Morgana. And this is going to be the last stand from Millenium, as they really desperately need to win a team fight. Amumu in a little bit of trouble as the ultimate from Ezreal does fly. And Amumu is not going to be able to team fight at this point in time. He is going to be forced back, unless he just wants to be an ultimate, as he will be bursted down the second he gets in there. Binding lands onto Jax. He takes a whole lot of damage. Rupture does land as well, and he's taken fairly low. And that's the CC coming out of Copenhagen Wolves, as they are able to just use it so often. It's not tied to ultimates. And then Ezreal can just throw out a few auto attacks or a mystic shot or two. And basically they're going to get this tower for free, because Morgana landed some beautiful bindings during that fight. And they followed him up with a Cho'gath Rupture. Jax down bottom jumping on to Shen. And Shen is getting taken fairly low. I'm not sure Shen is going to be able to win this fight now that Jax has that Blade of the Rune King. But throughout all that, they are going to take an inhibitor on Wolf's side, and that's exactly what they were looking for. Millenium just can't fight without Jax, as they really need him to continue the CC chain and pick off some of those high-value targets. He has decent farm at this point in time, sitting at just over 200. About a little low compared to the rest of everyone else, but still not that low, as he wasn't completely shut down, but he just hasn't had the impact that Jax really should on this game. Looks like we do have Fizz jumping in and jumping right out as he jumps on Ezreal, and the Black Shield on Ezreal means that he will not be hit by any crowd control effects. And that's exactly why they picked Morgana. I wasn't sure honestly why they were going to pick her is I thought they needed a bit more damage. But apparently they said, hey, Ezreal, we're going to get you ahead. We're going to do everything that we can to snowball you. And then we're going to just let you roam around the fight for free. Fizz misses his fish in the mid lane, though the Amumu ultimate does fly. There goes Fizz going down really quick. Misfortune bullet time hits everyone, but it is not enough as Morgana does use her Zhonya's hourglass perfectly in time. And this will be a good game in the favor of Wolves, as there is not anyone that can stop them, as no one was taken down. Morgana did get fairly low, but if Fizz had landed that fish, they might have been able to turn that fight around, but I just don't think they were able to, as we do see the good game coming out of Millenium, and that will be a big win for the Copenhagen Wolves. Right on the back of that, Ezreal and Shen. Shen doing an amazing job of split pushing and really bringing that bottom lane to a big victory. Thank you for watching Games Cast by PanderNyrl. For more commented games, please visit my YouTube and stream channels.